What's going on, we gamers? Today we're back with a little bit more Outriders DLC, and that's going to be for the Worldslayer. What we're going to be covering today is the fact that you should be looking out for some big changes for those mods that you've probably grown to love, and it may well shape your build. That's coming up next. Welcome back everyone. Today we're diving into a little bit more Worldslayer, and we're going to be covering some of the mods that have changes that we know about. Obviously a lot of them are under wraps still, but from what they've shown us, People Can Fly have put out quite a bit of content on the new Worldslayer DLC, and we're able to gather that things are definitely having a change up. Now as always, if this content helps you and you enjoy it, then why not hit that thumbs up, and if you'd like to become a member of the channel, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for now, let's dive in. So jumping over to the first one, and we've got Striga. This one is having quite a big nerf by the looks of it. If you have a little look, it's a tier 2 and 30% of critical damage is returned to you as health with a 0.1 second cooldown. This one can give a massive amount of health back, and I'm guessing now with those 3 mods it's something they probably couldn't have in place. So they've gave it a big change up, and if we look at the Mythos new legendary, what it's gone to now is quite different. So instead of what we had, which was the 0.1 second and 30%, we've now got 10% of critical damage is returned to you as health with a 3-second cooldown. I'm guessing you'll be able to dish out a lot more extra damage now with those apocalypse weapons, and they're trying to make it so you're not getting quite as much health back, as if you could do some crazy crit damage, you'd probably be on full health almost constantly. So in my books, definitely a massive nerf on that Striga, and there'll be quite a few adjustments on many of the other mods to come. Such as this one here, another mod that gives a bit of healing, and that's life and death. The old way for the tier 3, killing shots creates a blast that restores 33% of max health to players with a 3-second cooldown. This one could be very nice in the team setup for someone who's trying a bit of healing. Maybe if you're a Technomancer and you're trying to go down that route, especially if the content was going to be very difficult. But now they've gave it a little change up. For the Sunfall legendary that we've seen, the tier 3 life and death now has had the health that it restores go down to 20%. So killing shots creates a blast that restores 20% of max health to players with a 3-second cooldown. It definitely looks like they've had to lower a lot of the actual health that you're getting back, so with this I think there'll be a few mods probably from the new DLC that stand out above the rest. Now another mod that they're going to be changing, but not massively, just a slight variation, and that's Ravenous Locust. Before, it would create a swarm of locusts dealing a set amount of damage over 6 seconds and inflicting weakness. The swarm affects all enemies within a 6 meter radius of the target while it lasts with an 8-second cooldown. Now from the new legendary that they've shown, the final penance, the Ravenous Locust I think has had a better adjustment. Shots create a swarm of locusts dealing a set amount of damage over 6 seconds and inflicts weakness. The swarm affects all enemies within a 6 meter radius of the target while it lasts with a 6-second cooldown, so they've actually put the cooldown a little bit lower. I think this works better, and you'll be able to reapply it to really tough bosses a little bit faster. Last but not least, just to show that they're not all going to be adjustments that are downwards or nerfs as you'd say, this one in my books is going to have quite a big buff because of how they've changed it. So Judgement Enforcer. Shots mark enemies when reloading, deals 3 times your weapon damage to every marked enemy. Marks are removed when you charge your weapon with a 1-second cooldown. I always wanted to make this work. I thought there'd be a way to make it amazing. I couldn't really make it as good as I thought, and most times I didn't end up using it. However, now we've got a new legendary that's dropping, and it could well work out a lot better with it. So the Charred Lance. This one, because it has death ray, is the perfect example. Aiming down the sights forms an anomaly beam that deals a set amount of damage every 0.3 seconds. But it's a forward firing beam, so if you swing it lefty righty, you're probably going to catch a lot of the enemies in that beam and they're going to get marked, and then you'll be able to use your Judgement Enforcer. So this is definitely a perfect example. The tier 3 Judgement Enforcer now, shots mark enemies when reloading, deals 10 times your weapon damage to every marked enemy. Marks are removed when you change your weapon with a 3-second cooldown. So obviously the cooldown is higher, but 10 times the damage I would say is a massive buff, and you'd much rather have that than the actual lower cooldown because you want that significant damage when you're doing your first reload. with the right weapon build and loadout and that, you may well be able to make this work, and it could be one to watch out for. Now obviously there's a lot still under wraps, and there's going to be lots of buffs, adjustment, nerfs, everything. But just to let you know, your builds probably aren't finalised yet. Wait till the DLC comes out, as there'll be some big changes to older mods, so you may well be changing your setup. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care, I'll see you on next time.